night. CeeDee had a big game.
Who was covering him there, Dan?
Yep, anybody opposite Quinyon Mitchell is going to be the storyline.
And then, here's the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot throw it better by Dak Prescott. He gets CeeDee Lamb on that inside breaking post route. It's perfectly thrown. He's going to catch it 99 out of 100.
He would have 3 drops last night.
Was 97.
Credited. A devastating one. And then 2 minutes to go. This is on a 4th down play. This one doesn't count as a drop because he's diving, but RC, it's a catchable ball.
Listen, you go to people in the most important moments. CeeDee Lamb, the #1 wide receiver, one-on-one. He needs to catch this football. You can see how dejected he is here because he knows that's a big-time play.
Devastating. So the Eagles get it back, and here's your ball game. 1:45 to play. This is a 3rd down and putting a finishing touch on his masterpiece.
It's like watching the same play over and over and over again. He was sensational.
And so the Eagles hold on, and they win an unbelievable opener after the game. CeeDee dejected.
Man, that's terrible. Honestly, I feel like, I can't point no fingers at nobody else, you know what I'm saying? And I take full accountability and everything else that come with it because, as for me as a player, I prayed for moments like that, you know what I'm saying, and the ball to come my way. And obviously for me to not come up with it, bro, it stings a little bit.
Wasn't just those plays. There's throws out there that I want back, but it's game 1, and he's a guy that makes those plays. He's going to make those plays. I'm not going to get down on him. I'm not going to lose confidence by any means.
Okay, put your feet up if you're watching at home. We got all morning long to dive into what was an endlessly interesting opener, and both quarterbacks were terrific. There's so much to say about this. If CeeDee Lamb holds on to some of those passes, the conversation we're having about Dak Prescott this morning would be deafening.
Yeah, but more importantly, Jalen Hurts was perfect.
Jalen was perfect.
Jalen had played a perfect game, but the Cowboys' perspective, I think the Cowboys beat themselves, and that's your takeaway. If you're them, you're so encouraged by so much. If you take away the fumble by Miles Sanders late in this 3rd quarter, or if you catch 1 or 2 or 3 of those balls by Dak Prescott, it might be a different outcome. So I think if you're the Dallas Cowboys, the way you look, the way that Schottenheimer had your team ready, the way the offense looked, the way the interior of the offensive line played, Dak Prescott was absolutely fantastic throwing the football, moving. I thought the defense played pretty darn as well. So I think if you're the Cowboys, I know you don't win the game, but you beat yourselves and you walk away encouraged.
Yeah, talking about CeeDee's comments here, you don't have a great team. You can't make up for drops like this. You're the one, you're looked at as the star that wears it on his helmet. Not only you're a star receiver, one of the best in the league. Okay, Micah's not there to make a play for you on the other side. You don't have a defense that, don't worry, defense got my back. You can't assume that now. So there's more pressure on the offense. Those plays have to be made. You have to score points. CeeDee didn't get it done last night.
I feel like all offseason we talked about their interior offensive line and how they were so young up front. I thought the Cowboys moved the Eagles defensive line with ease. Now I know that the best player on the Eagles defensive line spit on another man, so he didn't play a single snap. That said, you look at what Booker did, you look what those guys, Guyton, all them out there, they were moving that Eagles defensive line, which we heard all offseason was going to be this great advantage for Philadelphia.
I know what you want.
What?
See, these 3 acting like they ain't never been on Get Up after a Cowboys game. But I'm here for you, Greeny. That's why I wore my blue. If those balls are caught, we're talking about Dak Prescott playing as well as we've ever seen him play. We're talking about Dak Prescott playing on the tier with the Josh Allens, with the Lamar Jacksons, with the Joe Burrows, with the Patrick Mahomes. We're talking about CeeDee Lamb's drop. Let's not forget that Jake Ferguson drops a touchdown before Miles Sanders fumbles the football, even though there's an unnecessary roughness. Yes, Jalen Hurts was perfect, but so was Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott made plays with his legs, which we hadn't seen from him in years. He scrambled, moved to his left, big throws down the field. He made every play from an individual perspective that he needed to make.
Yeah.
None of this is on Dak Prescott. If other players step up and make plays offensively without Micah Parsons on defense, you're asking the Philadelphia Eagles offense to make a play late in that game because Dak Prescott, along with Jalen Hurts, was the best football player on the field.
Yeah, go ahead, Eddie.
2 major questions answered for the Cowboys offense for me was the offensive line, how good it would be. They looked really good. And then Dak's hammy. Really, how was he in terms of mobility and the play that RC's referencing when he had to escape a sack, move to his left?
Yeah.
You're thinking about those screws in the hamstrings, and you're thinking if he's all right. He looked good. He's going to have a great year.
So I agree with you. I thought Dak looked fantastic. I think the two things that come off of it are we can't talk about the Cowboys' offensive line and the interior of the offensive line and not have the conversation of Carter.
He's mentioned it.
He's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
Yeah.
So he's a game changer. They even said it. So while you walk away encouraged and all that, there's just that asterisk, that caveat of like, oh, well, they didn't have the guy. And then also, is it as much of, man, you're so encouraged by the way Dak threw it, or you're a little bit, if you're the Eagles, going, we got a problem opposite Quinyon Mitchell. And that's not being in any disrespect to Dory Jackson.
That's very nicely put.
Yeah, so like that, that's so.
Well, it looks like Dory was benched.
They need to get in the transfer portal.
Yes,
that's what they need to do.
I think if you're the Eagles, it's a little bit of your perspective going. You knew, we talked about it yesterday. You knew this was going to be the case, right? That we were talking throw every ball opposite Quinyon Mitchell. It certainly felt like the Cowboys did, and so while you love the way that Dak played, I think if you're the Eagles, you're walking away going, there's a move to be made or a problem to be solved because you're not winning the Super Bowl with that.
The other part for the Eagles is this, right? There were so many questions about Brian Schottenheimer and how he would be in running his team. I felt like the Dallas Cowboys were prepared. I felt like they executed well. But not the same thing for the Eagles. I felt like the Eagles had players that played their positions individually well. But when Jalen Carter, who is one of the best players in the entire NFL, shows that lack of respect for the game, shows that lack of ability to make good decisions early on in the game, that is such a selfish play. Not only is it freaking disgusting, right? Not only do you show what a low-level human you are in that moment, but you let the entire team down. Everything that the Philadelphia Eagles